You know, Texas A&M had the antithesis of what Indiana had yesterday. They went on the road and they just smoked someone. 38-17 over Missouri. 1.5 Chalai. Boring. Mike Elko would have it no other way. They're doing everything national title contenders do. Flex Power presents this entire sequence of events, and Flex Power looks at it and says, even we couldn't really generate much of hope for Missouri here. They didn't say that. I put those words in their mouth. But don't forget the pregame dynamics in this game. Because pregame, a lot of people, me, said, hey, Missouri, backup quarterback, sometimes that's a good thing. Speaking of generating, sometimes that generates some emotion, some fire. And coming off a bye week, Drink and company, they've had 2 weeks to get ready. And A&M's got to go on the road as a favorite. This is unfamiliar territory for them. I don't want to forget the pregame dynamics when someone shuts everyone up and blows their opponent out, because that just makes it all the more impressive. You don't get to say, in other words, watch out, A&M on upset alert, and then they beat someone to death, and then you say, oh, who cares? It was a backup quarterback. I mean, of course they beat him. Nope, you don't get to do that. That's just like the guy who says, we got to run the ball here. Run the ball for no gain. I hate our play calling. What are we running the ball for here? You don't get to be that guy. A lot of them out there. A lot of them out there. We call them casuals. Don't be one, especially a November casual. So the game was completely over shortly after halftime, 21-0. Missouri had no shot. Most of their offensive production came after the game was already decided. Matt Zollers, look, I don't know what to tell you. 7 of 22 for 77 yards, 32% completion percentage. Probably not ready for this moment. Most quarterbacks aren't ready to face A&M, but he especially wasn't. The A&M offense, you want to talk balance. Boy, does Colin Klein and his offense have something for you. 221 through the air and 2 touchdowns. That's great. But what about the rushing numbers? I mean, Bama had a good night passing. They didn't run it for anything. 243 rushing, 3 touchdowns. There's your balance. A lot of different ways Texas A&M can beat you. And don't let these results get overlooked. I mentioned this earlier. All the credit in the world to Indiana. All the credit in the world to Oregon for going on the road and gutting out wins. Those are games that SEC teams find themselves in a lot, and we give the SEC teams credit, and you give the Big Ten teams full credit for being in similar situations and pulling out wins against teams they were favored against. However, sometimes what can happen is those games attract all the attention, and everyone's watching Indiana drive on Penn State and come from behind and win the game, and we're all impressed and stunned, and our first reaction is to praise Indiana, as it should be. And you give them a ton of credit for pulling victory out of the jaws of defeat, and you should. But see, what you don't see is over in Columbia, Missouri, A&M's just zipping up another body bag. Who deserves more credit? And the reason I mentioned those two next to each other is one of them was ranked in front of the other one last week, I think. Wasn't it 2 and 3, Jesse? So I wonder what the playoff committee thought about it. Hey, wait just a second. I appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. That was a top 25 team in Missouri now. You don't get to discredit that just because they won't be ranked because A&M beat them. That is a ranked opponent that A&M just dismantled on the road. Do they get more credit for it than Indiana gets for a close win on the road? Now, it may not matter at the end of the day. I think it matters from a procedural standpoint. I think it matters from a principled standpoint when it comes to how you rank teams. So I'll be paying attention to that. Did you notice in the preseason, hey, look, I thought Lagway was going to be the best quarterback in the league, so I had some swings and misses, just like everyone else did in the preseason, and I've got to own that. But one thing I have said in this preseason and for really preseasons even before Mike Elko got to College Station is Texas A&M is one of the best jobs in the country. Texas A&M can be one of the best programs in the country, and you can win a national title at Texas A&M. And I have been roundly mocked for holding that opinion. I've been called an Aggie homer. People have alleged that I am bought and paid for by Billy Lucci himself, and I'm not denying the last part. If Lucci wants to disclose how he spends his money, that's his business. I'm not denying that Billy Lucci has bought and paid for me. I'm not confirming it. I'm not commenting on it. But I just want to ask everyone again, This is one of my main talking points with A&M is there's a big difference between can't and haven't. Cannot is a lot different than have not. Okay? Jesse cannot dunk a basketball. I have not been to Alaska, but I could go whenever I wanted. So Texas A&M, people say they cannot win a national title. I simply believe they have not won a national title. And more so than winning one, which takes a little bit of luck along with a lot of skill, just being in position to win one. They're there right now. They're there right now. So I just wanted to offer everyone one more opportunity. It is November 9th. I'm not guaranteeing anything here. That's not what this is about. I just want to make sure I'm understanding everyone correctly who keeps beating this drum, or they have been. The drum's been pretty quiet as the season's gone on, honestly. But up until this season, a lot of people have told me they can't. Is anyone out there still of the opinion that Texas A&M football cannot win a national championship? Not in this particular year. I just mean in general. Now that you've seen sort of the first versions of what they're going to be under Mike Elko, this is year 2. Now that you're starting to see that come into form, you know, the microscope you turn a little knob there, it's starting to come into focus, and you see what's in the petri dish there. It's just Mike Elko looking up at you. Now that you see that, are you still of the opinion that they can't? Or could it just be that they have not? I'm giving you an opportunity. That's what God created the comment section for. That's what God created the live chat for. Thank you for watching. It's just college football all year. It's all we do. No apologies for it. If you want to check out the Phoenix Suns, you can. If you want to know how the Dodgers are doing in the hot stove conversations, that's okay. This is just not the channel. It's just college football here. Please subscribe to the channel. That's all we ask. We let you in for free. You can roam around and look as you please for free. Just please subscribe to the channel because it helps us continue to build the show. And if you're a complainer that a lot of the, quote unquote, national legacy media platforms don't offer what you want, this is the counter to that. Because we can do whatever we want here. Look at what the sign says. Yeah, it's just our show. We can do whatever we want, thanks to you. So please subscribe and keep it that way. Okay,